What if I already told you that you don't need to imagine anything to manifest what you want? Oh, he's a heretic. Cast him off. No, seriously. What if I told you that the imagination is what God had discussed is not the imaginal senses? What if I told you that when he said imagination is God, everybody's misinterpreting it? And that it doesn't mean your imaginal senses are God, and that whatever you run through your imaginal senses manifests, but the totality of your psyche is what manifests, aka your state. What are states? There are this state, there's this state, and there's all these states in this country. No, I'm just joking. We're not talking about geographic location states. Real states, right? They're not belief containers that you try and program yourself with, and I'm going to move into this state, and there's infinite states. Neville Goddard never said there are infinite states, right? He never, ever said there are infinite states. He did call a lecture infinite states, but then he said in another lecture that there's not infinite states. He said they are numbered, not unnumbered, but numbered. He says there seems like they're infinite, but they're not. That's what he said. And yet all these people have got these cosmologies. Oh, there's infinite timelines and infinite realities and infinite possibilities and infinite states that you can just choose and select. And oh, I'm going to be this state, and I'm going to be that state, and I'm going to pick this one and pick that one. Nonsense. Nonsense. It's a complete joke, dude. Look, here's the reality. All of the seeds are already within you. Or by the way, he also confirmed what I'm saying as well. Neville Goddard said that you're born with an entire garden. Do you know what that means? Well, I'll tell you very simply. The whole garden, which is, by the way, plants, seeds, sprouting, right, into fruit. You know what he really means? It's the fragments of your psyche, the pieces of your psyche. You already have them all there. Your imagination is God, right? Your imagination, the whole garden, all of the seeds that they unfold, right? You see what I'm saying? It's very simple. You have truth. And you have conditioning, which is not oh, I can't do this because of this reason. So it's all these, oh, I can't be myself because it's uncomfortable. And then you make up these excuses, and then you project this trash over the top to deny that you even have a problem. Whenever you're denying that you have resistance and you're not being real with yourself, and you keep going through these peak dip cycles, oh, I'm up and down, you try and project, you try and put yourself into this bubble, oh, I can be this person, this is who I am. I'm this person, I'm abundant, I'm wealthy, I'm healthy, I'm rich, I'm a millionaire, doing all this crazy stuff. That's just projection. You're not even close to that. As soon as you go out in the world, right, and you have a challenge, something challenges your belief, you get no faith, you just fall off a cliff. Oh no, I'm broken, You can't do it. You can't stop it, dude. This is what I'm saying. You don't want to be projecting. No, you don't want to live in projection. Projection will keep you stuck because you're not facing the reality of who you really are. But who you really are is actually, underlying it, the truth. This is who you really are, the truth, right? It's always there. Always there. That's who you really are, right? Underlying all these layers of trash that you keep buying into, that these influencers out here on the Neville Goddard space, they're telling you to project. Oh, I'm rich, I'm wealthy, I'm healthy. And they tell you to put up all these illusions and stuff. And they're telling you to, manifest in these completely insane ways. That's got nothing to do with manifestation. That's not imagination as God. That's delusional trash, right? If you want to really manifest what you want, you got to break through the conditioning, right? Because truth underlies the conditions. But most people don't even touch on the conditions because they don't like getting real with themselves. When you get real with yourself, it means I actually do have this condition in place. But you know what? I'm going to cut through it. It's not denying the condition. People tell you to deny the 3D, ignore the 3D, ignore the conditions, ignore how you feel. But how you really feel is actually underlying your truth. But people tell you that just because you feel bad doesn't mean that, you can feel bad and manifest. Yeah, that's technically true. That is true. But it's the faith and the acceptance of your truth. Remember, Neville Goddard said, the feeling is the acceptance that the wish has been fulfilled. Desires are wishes. I've connected this dot. Go watch another video if you want me to prove that. Desires are wishes. The wish fulfilled is the desire fulfilled. The desires are contained within the state. And the states are degrees of function of being correct, accepting your truth. Connect the dots. It's very simple to understand. Neville Goddard, when he told us to imagine experiences of, the wish fulfilled, he was basically telling us to go through experiences of breaking our conditions down. What would imply that you have what you want? Feeling it real means feeling the somatic feelings, feeling the intuitive sense of the knowing of, I'm cutting through this for real. If you look, here's an example. Say you have someone who desires to be they imagine themselves in this place all the time. They imagine themselves on a stage, performing, being who they want to be, being the pop star, right? Let's just say as an example. But the thing is that when time comes to go and perform in front of other people, they run away. They're like, no, I don't want to be seen. I can't do that. Stage fright. You know, they can't do it. They can't accept their truth, right? Why? Conditioning, right? But you know what they do when they get home? Because of popular manifestation? Oh, just imagine yourself being the person. So they imagine it, right? And they're in their safe space and they're in their little comfort zone, right? The projection is you living in the comfort box. You're living in the comfort zone. You're trying to accept your truth in pseudo-satisfaction, right? Pseudo-satisfaction comes from the projection, but this is never lasts. It'll always break down. You'll always go through another dip cycle. You'll always face some resistance. You'll face the truth. You'll face the conditions underlying the truth, and you won't be able to cut through the conditions because you don't have faith in who you really are, right? So Neville Goddard was telling us, by being in the state of the wish fulfilled, it was telling you to accept your truth, to cut through the conditioning, but not to project. This is not about being in a safe little box. This is about cutting through the trash that you keep running away from. The pop star in the room, they keep performing in their safe zone, but as soon as things, they want to get real with manifesting that big stuff, it's going to involve being seen. It's going to be involved being known, being exposed, being vulnerable, right? They can't be exposed. They can't be vulnerable. No, that's unsafe. That's uncomfortable. I don't want to be seen like that. Oh, I had bad experiences. All these reasons. Oh, these people did this to me. I can't do that. And so they just retreat back and they project. Oh, I'm the rock star. Yeah, they're projecting in their safe zone, right? That's what you're doing. You're projecting in the safe zone. This is not manifesting. This is a joke. It's got nothing to do with what God had taught. It's a joke, dude. It's a joke. It's a complete joke. Reality is manifesting is accepting the truth. That is the wish. That is the desire. That is the acceptance of the wish fulfilled up there, right? You have to cut through the conditioning. It's very simple. You have natural striving to accept your truth. This is your desire. But in the way you have all these, I can't do it. I can't be myself. I can't do it. These reasons. Conditioning. Resistance. Not self-conditioning keeps you in the box. And you feel it in your body, right? You feel somatic sensations. You feel discomfort somewhere in your body, right? And it's telling you we can't do that because it's unsafe. And so, in order to feel safe, you imagine your truth except in the box. And therefore, you can experience what you want in a pseudo-satisfaction way. And then you keep doing that over and over, but you go up and down and up and down, because it never satisfies you. You're not satiating the desire. How do you satiate the desire? You have to cut through the conditions and accept the truth, meaning face pressure. I didn't make the rules, that's what he taught. That's what he taught. What would it feel like to be the person you really desire to be right now? It's very simple. You bring up all of the trash that you're running away from. You experience, this is the example, that person, they would experience the reality of bringing up the aversion to playing the role. They bring up the aversion to playing their truth. They bring up all of the discomfort that they're running away from, that they're not accepting. They're not accepting the truth because they keep denying the conditions by living in projection. So instead of imagining in a projection field, you're going to cut through the conditions by bringing up the worst case scenario. This is the trash. This is the not self stuff. But you're gonna perform your truth. You're gonna go on stage anyway, and you're gonna play your role. There's a difference between someone who imagines themselves on stage, playing their role in a projection comfort bubble, right? This is all bodily sensation. This is not about the imaginal senses. Understand this is not about imaginal depth. This is about the reality of experience, which is an intuitive sense. The intuitive sense is the only way you can explain this, because it's about contextual sense. It's about what is in the mental surrounding environment. What is in the surrounding mental environment that you are experiencing? What are the conditions? You have to bring those conditions into the mix of the experience. It's not about the thing in a vacuum. It's about who's experiencing it. Who is there? Me, I'm there. I'm there for real. What is the feel it real? I'm in this role playing out my truth for real. Meaning I'm going to be experiencing my conditions, because if I was there on the stage for real, I would feel uncomfortable, which is why I keep averting myself and I'm not there already. That is why you're stuck. It's not difficult to understand. That is why. When you understand the conditions, you cut through them and you accept your truth and you manifest it. Because it's already within you. You just have to accept cutting through the trash. And then you realize, when you're in the end, you look back, oh, I remember when. Well, now we can make sense of I remember when. We see Neville Goddard's true doctrine. He never taught the trash. He never taught projection. He taught cutting through conditions to accept truth. There's no other way you can explain it. It doesn't work any other way. Anyone telling you that there's any other way that this works, they're playing games with you. They're trying to sell you trash that you don't need, right? They're wasting your time. They're trying to get money out of you, obviously. If this industry wasn't worth multiple billions, it would be telling you the truth. But it doesn't, because people keep coming back, watching the videos, keep buying the courses, keep going to the retreats. a multi-billion-dollar corporation, they love to maximize profit. I'm here to tell you the truth. God had told you what I just discussed. States are not belief containers. They are degrees of function of acceptance of self. To operate more correctly as yourself in more of your truth means to accept more of your state. Because he said that there are not infinite, but numbered states. And they're vertical, they're not horizontal. There are better and worse states, right? It's like levels of correctness, levels of correct orientation, levels of acceptance of more of yourself, right? Individuation, degrees of individuation is what we could describe states as. And they all have their own feeling to them because they all have a degree of truth that you can accept about yourself. This state, you can look back at an old state and be like, oh, I can feel the difference between that state and where I am now. If you've done actual transformation, you can look back because you're in the end, because you've actually accepted more of yourself. Your truth is more of yourself. This is more of you. This is you. This is the metaphysical you, right? I am, right? It's right there. All you have to do is accept more of yourself, and you become the embodiment of those thematic elements, and they manifest in the world. It's not magic. It's not freaking quantum trash, quantum reality shifting, timeline shifting nonsense, dude. All trash. All complete nonsense, dude. We have to move past this trash paradigm and get to the real root. It's like thematic expressions. This is how it really works. That's the fact. You want to manifest? Cut through the conditioning. Look at anyone who's successful in the world and they would tell you that this is what they had to go through. All of them. Guarantee it. They had to cut through the conditioning. All of them. Every single one of them would have faced this eventually. They would have faced challenge. Challenge is a necessary part of how you expand. Alchemy means putting yourself under pressure. Taking the lesser substance up into a higher substance, purifying that, which is what we're doing in Sats, and then it gets put back together again, and then you look back, oh, look at my elements, I've been purified. That's alchemy, guys. Alchemy involves pressure. Alchemy involves transformation. Alchemy involves being yourself without compromise. Facing conditioning, facing uncomfortable circumstances, but accepting that it's just part of the process. It's okay. It's not bad. It's okay. They don't stick around forever. They're just temporary. But they will stick around forever if you keep buying into the projection field and you keep trying to run away from the truth. If you keep denying how you really feel, you'll never cut through it. Oh, I don't have conditioning, and you just live in the projection, and then you run away from the reality of the experience. It's the reality of the experience that matters. The reality of the experience is where the transformation is. That's what feel it real means. It's not about more imaginal sensory depth. It's not about more emotion. It's not about more of any of that stuff. Right? Your imagination is your entire sense of self, your entire state, your entire being, all of your components. Because your mind is not just mental. It's made of all these different pieces, right? All the elements. Neville Goddard taught this. He said there's 4 different pieces to a consciousness. Earth, air, fire, water. Technically there's 5 as well, but that's the capacity that we have to grow into. Degrees of function. When we get enough transformation, we move into our quintessence and we become immortal. That's why we're here. We're here to expand into and grow into our truth, which is who we are, which is I am. Does it make sense now? There's no magical mystery stuff. It's just your truth, your conditioning that you're falsely associating to, false expectations to play a role that you're not, and then there's a projection that you buy into which people tell you to, oh, I'm living in the end, I'm living in the end, I'm living in the end. Really you're not, because you can't actually accept being yourself for real. It's being yourself for real that matters. For real. Being real, being honest, being raw, being legit, being yourself. Accepting your truth. The feeling. The acceptance that the wish has been fulfilled. That's what God had said. That's what he said is the feeling. And it's satisfying. Why? Because that's who you are. You're accepting more of yourself. That satisfies, that nourishes. You're becoming more immortal, technically. That's what the states are about. Do we see? It's all connected. It's very simple to understand. This is not about infinite timelines, infinite parallel realities. You're just selecting one because I'm thinking in my head, this is mine. I'm going to repeat to myself, I'm going to repeat to myself, I'm going to repeat. If you got it by doing that, it's because you already accepted your truth and it came through you. Right? Before you go and play these stupid games in the comments, I know, I've understood, I've gone through all of that stuff. I've written 3,000 freaking pages on this stuff. 3,000 pages. 3,000 pages of notes, right? I'm pretty sure I know what I'm talking about. If you manifested something doing those methods, it's because you already had enough coherency to make that work. And it was just coming through you. Meaning that you didn't really have a conditioning layer, and therefore you didn't need to project. You were just being yourself. If it manifested, it's because you were being yourself. If you see signs, it's because you don't have the sense of self. to play it out. You don't have the sense of self. Signs are the cause of lacking sense of self. If you're doing projection, that's what's going to cause signs. You're going to see signs if you live in this sphere. That's what's going to happen. You're going to get signs and signs and signs and more signs. That's all you'll ever get. You'll just get signs forever. Ups and downs, hot, cold, bits and pieces, round and round and round and round and round. That's all you'll ever get, right? It's because that's not accepting your truth. You're not satisfied. You need more. You need to keep affirming because you're not satisfying it. It's not there. It's not done. When it's done, it's because you've accepted your truth. You've grown into who you are. Duh, it should be obvious. That's all there is. That's why it's done, because you've accepted who you are. You've satisfied the desire. You have grown into your truth. More of who you are, your states, your degrees of function, your degrees of coherency with your capacity. It's not magic, guys. It's just common sense. It's mechanics. It's alchemy. So please understand that we're not here to manifest using mindless affirming techniques. It's a complete scam. All these fools are telling you, oh, I've got to constantly repeat and select this reality. If I just keep telling myself I'll get my reality. Nonsense. Right? Go and tell them to shove off. Tell them that I figured it out. I'm going to go and accept my truth. I'm going to imagine myself accepting my truth, and I'm done. It's going to be done. It's already finished. Remember, your desire and all of the specifics are already there. And if something that you desire, you think you desire because it's part of your projection field, you think you desire it, you really don't, right? It'll fall away. The more of yourself that you grow into, the more individuated you become, the more that you expand on that degree of individuation scale, the more your truth will become known. The more the conditions and the projections will just fall away. So if you desire this person because this person makes you feel safe, but then within yourself, you give yourself that safety, you don't want this person anymore. And guess what? Someone else who's better comes into your life because that person was giving you what you didn't really want. You didn't really want this person. This person was not your truth, right? I get this all the time. People are like, oh, I want to manifest a specific person because you're so attached, because you're so depleted. You understand, if this person has what you really want, they will come into your life and you won't be able to stop it because that's them playing their role to fulfill your role. You both play off of each other's roles, right? I said before, it's about accepting the role of yourself. That's the fact, guys. Being yourself without compromise means accepting the role that you have already within you, predetermined. It's already there. Goddard taught that we have predetermined roles. Neville Goddard taught predetermined experiences. Again, go and watch my other video if you don't believe me. He said that God will zap, I'm quoting him, God will zap you from the role of a rich man to the role of a shoe shine boy and a toilet scrubber. He said that. And then he said, for the work to be done in him. What do you think that means? What work are we talking? The expansion into individuation, being yourself, accepting your truth, the satisfaction of owning who you really are, right? Being uncompromisingly yourself, exposing yourself to vulnerability and being okay with it. Just being, living the reality of the experience. That's what's deeply satisfying. Being real, being honest, being raw. There's nothing more to it than that, guys. I'm telling you. You can cut through all of the techniques if you just follow this principle. Every time that you feel an aversion to make a decision you know you want to make, do it anyway. Stuff it. I don't care. Bypass the trash. Well, cut through the trash, because bypassing is projecting and, oh, I'm going to retreat, but I'm going to pretend that I'm already there. Faking being there is projection. That's you experiencing your truth in the box, in the comfort zone, right? That's why it doesn't feel uncomfortable when you do that. But if you be real in your imaginal experience, if you make it as real as you can, for real, it's not about sensory depth, it's about the reality of the experience of cutting through the conditioning, which of course will bring up the stuff that you would feel as if though it was real. That's what that really means. I'm giving you guys the whole secret. Guys, I'm giving the whole formula right here. This is the manifestation formula. This is literally a decade of study that I've done. Everything that I've read of Neville Goddard, summarized right here. Imagine the reality of the experience of the wish fulfilled. Cut through the trash. Feel all of that intensity. Feel the intensity of, I want this thing. I'm gonna fulfill this thing. I'm gonna go through. I don't care. I'm just gonna make the decision. Go up on the stage in your imagination as though it was real and play the role. And you'll feel it. You'll feel the energy moving through. It will probably be intense. You will probably feel charge circulating through your circuits. I know I said in another video that the feeling is like the negation of charge, but this results in the charge being depleted because the conditioning is the aversion. You're having your circuits flushed. Whenever you're living in the state of the wish fulfilled, right, for real, and you're in the end, It's because you've had your circuits flushed, and so the intensity of the sensation of being yourself, the feeling, it's neutral because you've accepted your truth. There's no conditioning in the way. There's no aversion. It's just natural. This is who I am. It's like getting up and making a piece of toast in the morning. You don't, what will this person think if I make toast and eat it? There's no condition. There's no aversion. That's why people manifested the ladder. The ladder experiment. Nobody's. Maybe someone's afraid of climbing ladders, but nobody would be afraid of that. It's got nothing to do with this whole imaginal senses create reality. If you're stuck, right, because of this is the reason why you're stuck. You have to cut through the trash. Otherwise, you would automatically imagine the thing because it comes through you. Remember, Neville Goddard said that God gives you the wish, it comes through you, you automatically imagine it. It's already done. It's already finished. It's already there. It comes through you, which is why you can imagine, I want, and remember, you can even, I wonder what this person's up to. You think about the person, you don't say, this person's contacting me. You just think about the person. Guess what? The person contacts you. There's no, the wording doesn't matter. The sensory experience doesn't matter. What matters is the reality of the experience. The targeting sense, the intuitive sense, the sense of self. Targeting that experience, playing that role. I wonder what this person's thinking. I wonder what this person's doing. I wonder, and then they contact you. You can't make it up. That's how usually, and you'll find this in your own life, you'll get contact that way. But when Neville Goddard said that, God zaps us into one role and another for the work to be done in him, it's because that's the point of what all of this manifestation stuff is about. It's about individuation. States are degrees of individuation that you accept or not. They're not belief containers that are like infinite, different realities, different whatever the heck. It's the acceptance of yourself, being yourself without compromise. Please understand that this is not about mentally stimulating yourself. The less you mentally stimulate yourself, the better. Because you'll be able to hold frame, you'll be able to hold stability, and you'll be able to be spontaneous. You'll be able to make decisions when you have intuitive impulse come up, the truth, I want to make this decision, this is what I desire to do. Instead of running away and being avert, and, not being willing to face the conditioning, you'll just cut through it. You'll be like, okay, well, this is who I am. I don't care. I'm just going to do it anyway. So what? That's how you win. The winners, they get what they want because they don't care about the conditioning. They don't care about the resistance. They just do it anyway. Throw yourself into the vulnerable positions and just do the things that you know you want to be doing in the world. That'll be more beneficial for your manifestation than any imaginal experiences that you do. Right? Number one rule. Imagination is not your imaginal senses. Neville Goddard never taught that. He never taught your imaginal senses are imagination. Never taught that. Number two, your desires, your truth, the seeds, they're already within you. All of the pieces of your awareness, all the pieces, the thematic aspects, they're already within you, and they're just unfolding. And it's your aversion to allowing them to unfold through you that's preventing the manifestations that are innately already within you, predestined for you to unfold. If you have the desire, it's predestined for you. Literally, it's already there. It's part of your purpose. But you can't accept it because it's uncomfortable. So when you can just be okay with the discomfort and be like, stuff it, I'm going to do it anyway, and just cut through the trash, and then you look back, it wasn't so bad after all. And then you're like, why did I even hold back? Just cut through it. Live the reality of the experience of cutting through your limitations, cutting through your resistances, and dropping the projection, getting real with yourself. I do have this condition, and I'm going to cut through it. I don't care. I'm going to drop the projection. I'm going to drop the fantasy. I'm going to drop the pretending, the faking. I'm going to be real. Being as real as possible is the secret. Feeling is cutting through the reality of the experience. There you go. I just defined the feeling more effectively than Goddard's definition, right? When Goddard said the feeling is the acceptance that the wish has been fulfilled, what you can translate that as is simply cutting through the reality of the experience of being yourself and feeling it in your body, because you will feel intense sensations very likely. Like, for example, if you've been holding in something that you want to say to someone for weeks, months, even years, and then you go to say it, you're going to have the hesitation, and you're going to feel like you're going to feel all this energy. I'm going to explode. You're going to feel it because there's all this charge. I want to do it, but I can't, but I can, but I can't, but I can't. Just do it. Just do it. And guess what? All of that movement of that energy, guess what? Neville Goddard in his breathing technique is it explodes. I've given this technique to different clients, and they tell me about this explosion that happens when I tell them how to do it correctly, right? They have this explosion. And then boom, all of a sudden things change, right? Why? Because they've flushed the circuits. Go watch my other video if you want more explanation on the whole meridian systems idea, right? You're really just experiencing the reality of the experience to create a heightened awareness to flush your circuits. And by flushing your circuits, your body, your unconscious mind, it becomes clear. The conditioning vanishes. And therefore, you don't need to project. You can just accept being yourself. Stuff comes to you. You go to it. There's no contrast. That's being in the state of the wish fulfilled. You see how easy it is? It's very simple. We're coming up on half an hour. We're going to end this one now. That's how you do manifestation. Manifestation is not done through willing yourself there. It's not done through more sensory depth. It's not done through any of that trash, right? Real imaginal experiences are about facing the truth, cutting through the resistance. That's how you really get places. Living the reality of the experience of being yourself. That is the most direct way that I could explain to you how to manifest. Living the reality of the experience of being yourself and simulating that in your imagination. Again, your imaginal senses are not necessary. If you want proof of this, explain the lullaby technique. The lullaby technique had no imaginal senses. He just told you to repeat a phrase to yourself as if you're praying to a higher power. That's what he said. Had nothing to do with what people talk about. There's different ways of applying this stuff. But the lullaby technique that he taught, which is even on the Goddard subreddit, right? They love to peddle this stuff, had no imaginal experiences in it. But then they'll love to say, oh, it's the wording. No, it's not the wording, because you can say, I have not heard from this person in ages, and they'll still contact you. So you're done. There's no logic. You're contradicting yourself. These people that teach manifestation, they contradict themselves all the time. What I've said works every time. If you follow this, it will work for you. Because the desire is already within you. The seeds are already there. God had said you had a whole garden planted before you're even born. All of the states, all of the pieces, the states meaning the degrees of function, and thus the truth that they represent in those layers of you accepting, which is being more of yourself, which is your individuation, which is your expansion. And that's what God had said we're here for. God had said we're here to expand. That's what this is all about. Accepting more of yourself is manifesting. That's the truth. That's the fact. And all this extra stuff on the side, oh, free coffees and blah, blah, that's all just side quest stuff, right? When you're in your truth, it's already comfortable. You can just write it down. Blah, 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 blah. You're requesting, you're suggesting, right? That's all it is. Which is why you can write it down once, forget about it, leave it, boom, it happens. Because it's just a suggestion. And when you can leave a suggestion as just a suggestion, it shows up. It's very simple, isn't it? So with that being said, we should now understand why reality synthesis replaces this idea that it's all just mentally thinking to yourself. Because reality synthesis tells us that it's already there. We don't need to do anything other than accepting, living the reality of the experience of being ourselves, without compromise. Cutting through, going all the way. Being yourself. Being real. Being real is manifesting. And that's how you do it. There's nothing more to it than that, guys, I'm telling you. Be real with yourself. That's how you manifest. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys like it, share it. Please share it around. Please share the video. If you haven't shared the video before and you've been like, oh, maybe I shouldn't, do it anyway. Do it anyway, right? If you feel the need to share it, do it. Share it around, put it on your groups. Hey, God, look, DJ, he's proven that all these people, they've got flaws in their understanding of manifesting. He actually explained it in a way that makes sense. He explained it in a way that makes sense. Do it. Share it. Tell people we've actually got a consistent model of manifesting now. Reality synthesis it's a complete model of manifesting that doesn't contradict itself for the first time. There's no confusion. Oh, what about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? Oh, this, that. You know, people get totally whacked. They're like up and down and they don't know what to believe. It's clear. It's clear. It's freaking clear as day. Living the reality of the experience of being yourself. There it is. There's the solution. That's what it means to just effortlessly just be. Just be. So once again, please like it. Please subscribe because we get more videos like this. And I'll see you on the next one. Stay legendary.